Have you ever missed getting a good listing because you and the seller just did not agree on the asking price? Hey, it can happen to the best of us, I promise you. Watch this little short clip about an experience that happened to me one time. Come back and I'll talk to you about 3 things to keep in mind when this pops up. I may have missed out on a pretty good listing. Did a lot of work on a property, a pretty good sized property, and gave all the information about the values and what I thought about it, and followed up with the folks today just to see, hey, you know, can I help you? And it's been a week or two. They basically want to almost double probably the market range was for the property. They want just about double of that. So I can't do much with that. You know, the thing about it is there's going to be somebody here that will tell them, yeah, I can get you that for it, to get the listing. So it'll show up on the market for that great big price. But that's just the way it goes. You know, I've gotten too old, too busy to run down a lot of listings that I know that we just can't sell for that price. We still end up with some of them because it's just the nature of the business, but I've pretty much drawn a line in the sand on my stuff, going, no, I'm not going to list something for double what I think the market value is. So we'll see what happens on the next one. So what do you do when that happens? I mean, come on, you and I are in the business. We want to get listings. We want to get good listings too. So when that comes up, you want to get a good listing, but what do you need to do about that? Well, first of all, let me just encourage you. Number one, stick to your guns. If you're pretty certain about the market value of a property, don't start chasing after listings. There are too many guys that do that. That will, in my opinion, hurt you in the long run. It won't help you. Now, it'll get you some cool listings in the short term, and you'll get to go out and shoot video and fly your drone and put a lot of posts on Instagram and Facebook about your new XYZ listing. But when you never get anything sold, over the longer term, that's going to come back and bite you. So if you're certain on the price, stick to it. Being honest and upfront with that seller is your job. Getting that listing is not your job. Being a straightforward, honest professional in this business, that's your primary job. So stick with it. Don't chase after listings. Hey, the second thing I'd tell you is a lot of times those listings will come back around. You'll be surprised how many times, if you are straightforward with a seller, you've done some work for them, you've given them good information, and yet for any number of reasons they choose to go another way. Maybe they went with the pie in the sky guy that gave them some ridiculous number. And I've had a lot of those listings come back to me where the folks pick up the phone, call me and go, hey, our listing is expired, or it's about to expire, and we want to put it back on the market with you. We want to lower the price to XYZ. Suddenly reality sort of sets in after a period of time. A lot of times they're going to remember the folks that were professional, told them the truth, even though the truth wasn't what they wanted to hear at the time. And suddenly credibility becomes more important than some stratospheric asking price. It's happened so many times I can't count it. Doesn't happen every time now. Don't make this some set in stone a rigid principle. So being honest on the front end, a lot of times they help you when it comes around back around to you on the back end. At least you know you're doing things the right way, and that over time is going to make a big difference for you. Hey, the third thing I'll tell you to keep in mind is this. Sometimes, as good as you and I are in this business, we miss it on that market value. Sometimes the property is truly worth more, and the reason that happens sometimes is because we're focused on this particular use, which means this particular price, but the property truly has a different use, and that use gives it a much higher price. And so being humble in this business on these unique properties, on these properties where you're not 100% certain on its highest and best use, that'll work in your favor too. It's good to have confidence and know what we know, and to put forth that information in a very confident, firm way. Keep in the back of your mind, you and I don't know everything about everything, and sometimes in those unique properties, those gray area situations, have enough humility to talk to the owner and go, hey, listen, I think it's this, and I'm pretty certain it's this, but I could be wrong. It could go this direction. And with that little bit of caveat, that little bit of humility, a lot of times you can work with a seller with a plan like this. Go in at that high asking price and say, hey, we'll give it a try based on this particular use, meaning this particular price. Let's try that and give it a good period of time and say, listen, but if the market doesn't agree, if we're hearing crickets, if we're getting no interest at all at this price based on this particular highest and best use, let's listen to the market and readjust, get it closer to what the market is telling us that property's worth. I found that little bit of humility, flexibility with reasonable people, they love that plan. They want to try for the pie in the sky, and it may be right. And I've got a real good story that pops in my head about a time it exactly worked that way. I won't bore you with it now, but just know that happened. A lot of sellers will appreciate that. You can formulate a plan going forward based on that, and sometimes that'll win you the listing, and that flexibility and humility and working with the seller will also win you that sale down the road when you get that property finally priced at the right place and buyers come along and buy it. Anyway, those are 3 things that come to mind when we're talking to sellers about the pricing of property and getting those listings. Thanks for watching our videos. There's some more right there. Check them out.